Unlocking the Miraculous Secrets of Pythagoras. 3 sacred teachings for divine transformation in the heart of an idyllic English village, where whispers of prayer floated on soft breezes. Young Eliza clutched a book tightly against her chest. Unlocking the Miraculous Secrets of Pythagoras. She dreamed aloud, her heart racing with anticipation. Could this ancient wisdom hold the key to healing her beloved brother, Thomas? With each page, she felt a surge of divine hope, the first sacred principle, harmony, resonating within her like an orchestral dawn. As Eliza delved deeper into this mystical knowledge, she envisioned the rolling hills of her village transformed into a celestial landscape. Vivid colors danced before her eyes, and the air shimmered with ethereal light. Goddess creation has a rhythm all its own, she exclaimed, recalling the sweet melodies of church hymns. For the first time, she believed there was a divine connection between mathematics and faith, a bridge yet to be crossed. Yet, as days wore on, shadowed anxiety loomed over her family. Thomas lay ill, trapped in a fevered sleep that left the household shrouded in despair. With each prayer meeting led in the cozy warmth of their home, Eliza felt her spirit weaken. A silence walked alongside them. But in a moment of desperation, the village gathered for an evening of prayer, their sacred tradition. Hope flickered like a candle struggling against the wind. Eliza stepped to the front, her heart heavy with uncertainty, but ignited with the essence of Pythagoras' teachings. Tonight, she proclaimed, we shall embrace the principles of harmony, proportion, and transformation. Let us invoke our collective faith and trust in Goddess' plan. Doubts, however, coursed through the crowd. Some villagers looked at her askance, murmuring, is this folly? Can we truly intertwine math with miracles? Before she could continue, she took a moment to gather her breath. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With renewed passion, Eliza raised her hands to the heavens, calling upon the divine light that enveloped the gathering. The atmosphere thickened with anticipation. Pulses quickened, and earnest prayers spilled forth like rain, filling the air with holy urgency. The villagers leaned in, hearts eager for the miraculous touch of the Almighty. As her words settled, a sudden gust of wind swept through the prayer garden, rustling the leaves into a soft whisper, echoing the ripples of prayer. Murmurs of astonishment rippled through the crowd. Amidst the storm of doubt and hope, Eliza's voice rose like a serene wave. Let this sacred teaching guide us. May harmony be restored, proportion bring balance, and transformation shed light upon our beloved Thomas. Hope crackled like electricity, sparking a divine connection that transcended human understanding. In that sacred moment, each soul felt the tangible presence of divine possibility. Could it be that God was unraveling a mystery more profound than they had ever imagined? Eliza's heart danced with anticipation. As she pondered, could faith and ancient wisdom intertwine to bring about the miracle they so desperately sought? As twilight deepened, the night air shimmered with unspeakable promise. Would their cries reverberate through the heavens, transforming not only Thomas's fate, but their village's understanding of hope and miracles? As the prayers ascended into the twilight sky, a hush fell over the village gathering. The air thickened with reverence, each whisper creating an invisible web that pulled everyone closer to the heart of the divine. Eliza felt a stirring within her, a surge of something greater than her own resolve. She could almost hear the echoes of Pythagoras through her spirit, reminding her of the spiritual realm entwined with the physical. Let us breathe in the essence of divine harmony, she urged, her voice steady, infused with a lingering warmth. The villagers inhaled deeply, their hearts aligning with hers, seeking to place aside their doubts, if only for a moment. It was as if the entire garden had transformed into sacred ground, with whispers of the divine wrapping around them like a cloak. That night, Eliza spoke of proportion, how God reveals his plans intricately woven through the fabric of existence. Each star in the sky, each petal on a flower, speaks to his perfect design, she declared, her eyes sparkling with fervor. The villagers exchanged glances, some nodding in agreement, while others still clung to disbelief. Yet, a flicker of hope ignited in their eyes at the thought that perhaps unseen hands were guiding them through this hardship as they delved deeper into prayer. A palpable shift colored the atmosphere. Eliza noticed a light, soft yet vibrant, beginning to flicker at the edges of her vision. Was it just her imagination? Or was the essence of transformation beginning to unfurl like the petals of an awakening bloom? She encouraged the villagers to visualize their prayers pouring forth like rivers to the heavens, carrying their hopes and fears, all converging together in a stream of divine potential. What if transformation comes not in grand gestures? Eliza whispered urgently, but in the subtle shifts of our hearts. The villagers leaned closer, intrigued yet uncertain. Could they truly harness the wonder of such teachings? Each prayer became a note in a divine symphony, rising higher, an offering of their collective faith. Suddenly, a gentle breeze arose, carrying with it the mingled scents of earth and wildflowers, as if nature itself responded to their cries. The rustle of leaves seemed to echo the murmurs of encouragement that floated through the congregation. The wind danced through the gathered souls, cascading warmth where doubt had once lingered. And in that moment, a vision struck Eliza. She pictured Thomas not in his state of illness, but filled with strength, laughter exploding like joyous music. What if our prayers become the catalyst for change? What if our trust in God unlocks a pathway for miracles? She said, her voice rising in conviction. The villagers felt the stirrings of hope rekindle, growing brighter in their hearts. But as the glow of faith ignited in the gathering, a distant sound arose, a soft but eerie echo from the shadows. It seemed to sway through the trees as darkness threatened to cast a veil over their newfound hope. Was it skepticism taking root again, or perhaps something more ominous? Eliza's heart skipped a beat. Could their devotion stand strong against the waves of doubt that always seemed to follow moments of light? As the moon emerged, casting a silvery glow across the village, Eliza felt an unsettling energy. What divine challenge awaited them next? Would this night only strengthen their faith, or would the shadows of doubt lead them astray? With her heart pounding, Eliza resolved that they would face whatever came next, united in their quest for transformation. The silvery light of the moon poured over the gathering like a soft benediction, illuminating the anxious faces of the villagers. Each breath they took felt heavier, pregnant with a weight of uncertainty. Eliza sensed it too, the palpable tension in the air, as if the shadows themselves were alive, whispering fears that threatened to drown out the spirit of hope they had just ignited. Standing tall, she gathered her thoughts, her heart racing. "We must not let doubt take root," she declared, her voice a beacon piercing through the dark. "Faith is a shield, not a sword. We stand not against our fears, but within the embrace of something far greater." In response, a collective murmur rose among the villagers, a subtle chorus of agreement, yet a few feeble voices still hung back, tinged with reluctance. Eliza approached them, eyes filled with compassion. "Remember the stories of our ancestors, how they faced calamity, yet held firm in their trust. Do we not share that same blood of perseverance?" As her words settled into the hearts around her, Eliza felt a sudden shift, the air thickening with anticipation, as if unseen forces were watching their every moment. She focused her mind, recalling the teachings of Pythagoras about the sacred geometry in life, the patterns of existence that held the key to transformation. "Tonight, let us call upon the divine rhythm that surrounds us. Let us harmonize our prayers with the vibrations of the cosmos," she exclaimed, raising her hands skyward. One by one, the villagers stepped forward, hands outstretched, surrendering doubts into the night. Eliza led them in heartfelt supplications, each voice rising in unison, weaving a tapestry of faith that wrapped around them like the warmest of blankets. The sound of their prayers, raw and genuine, pierced through the darkness like arrows of light, and as they prayed, she felt it, the energy of divine possibility, surging like a tide through the garden, washing over them. She saw their faces illuminated not just by moonlight, but by something much more profound. The flickering light at the edges of her vision blossomed into resplendent hues, casting a glow that revealed the beauty of their spirits merging as one. The breeze picked up, swirling around them, carrying their fervent prayers alongside the sweet scent of wildflowers. "May every doubt fall away like the petals of a spent bloom," she pleaded. "May our faith grow bold, nourished by love." Just at that moment, the eerie echo returned, clearer now, more defined, yet something felt different. Instead of dread, Eliza perceived it as a challenge, a test from the universe, hoping to awaken a deeper resolve within them all. "We shall not cower," she shouted, her voice cutting through the sounds of uncertainty. "This shall be our moment of divine reclamation." Suddenly, light burst forth. An overwhelming presence enveloped them, a warmth like a sunbeam breaking through clouds. The villagers shielded their eyes, but when they looked again, the shadows had receded, the night now infused with the glow of their collective faith. In that moment, Eliza felt a palpable shift. She could sense that something extraordinary was poised on the horizon. What if tonight is the night we unlock the miraculous? She pondered aloud, heart racing with exhilaration. What if God is preparing us for a change beyond our imagination? The villagers stood silently, breathless, eyes wide with both fear and anticipation. Could they dare to believe that something magnificent was imminent? As they awaited the dawn of this new possibility, Eliza felt the weight of promises lingering in the air, the promise of transformation, a challenge yet unchosen. And there it was. The echo continued, now a rhythmic pulse against the backdrop of their faith, beckoning them to step into the unknown. What lies beyond? Are we ready to embrace it? She thought, with eyes set on the enveloping mystery before them. They took a collective breath. Their hearts beat as one, ready for the next divine encounter. What revelation awaited them? The air was thick with anticipation, the promise of light laced with the shadows of the unknown. The village stood poised on the edge of the extraordinary, like the moment just before dawn when the world holds its breath. The vibrant energy surrounding them pulsed with each heartbeat, as if the universe itself were holding a sacred dialogue with the gathered souls. Eliza could feel it deep in her bones. She looked into the eyes of her neighbors. Hope was flickering there, igniting. "Let us not merely stand in the face of uncertainty," she urged, her voice threading through the night air like a gentle brook. "Let us leap forward, hand in hand, into this embrace of divine possibility." The villagers shifted, reflected glimmers of faith sparking in their hearts. Together, they echoed. The power of unity filled the air, standing sentinel against the shadows that loomed nearby. Eliza closed her eyes, lifting her face to the now brimming sky. "Divine forces, reveal your purpose," she whispered, and her voice blended with the wind, wrapping around every soul present. Then came a hush, a sacred stillness where time seemed to slip away. The weight of expectation settled into the soft earth beneath their feet. Eliza opened her eyes to find that the golden light now shimmered with a steadiness, casting golden filaments across the gathering. "Do you feel it?" she asked, her voice steady yet tender. Around her, a gentle agreement rustled like leaves stirred by a soft breeze. The air vibrated with an intensity she could scarcely comprehend, an electric pulse that spoke of proximity to the divine. "What if this is not merely our prayer, but a summons?" she continued, excitement bubbling within her chest. "A call to awaken hidden truths?" From the crowd, one elder spoke, his voice tinged with wisdom. "Eliza, we have long been told that there are keys to the universe, treasures buried deep within us. Are we not on the cusp of discovery?" "Yes," she exclaimed, feeling encouraged by the surge of agreement. "As Pythagoras taught us, the cosmos resonates with patterns. We are part of a grand design, intricately woven into the fabric of life. This dance we share, every prayer, every thought creates ripple effects beyond our sight." At that proclamation, the wind swirled with renewed vigor, practically dancing around them. Laughter bubbled up among the villagers, mixing joyfully with their shouts of affirmation. Eliza closed her eyes again, surrendering her will to the moment. What would the next step bring? What lessons lay in wait? Taking a breath steeped in faith, she began to vocalize their collective intentions. Let us unlock the mysteries together, dear friends. Teach us, O divine force, teach us to lift each other, to pursue love boldly. Her words became fervent, threading dreams and fears into a single tapestry. Suddenly, with an electrifying jolt, the comforting glow around them expanded, swirling and twisting, painting the sky with ethereal colors. Eyes widened, disbelief mingled with awe. The echoing pulse grew louder and clearer, vibrating their very souls. Embrace it, Eliza urged as the shimmering lights danced around them, lifting their spirits and embedding courage deep within. Together, we shall step forward into the profound. But as the luminous waves rolled through the last tendrils of fear, a new whisper emerged, threading its way through their triumphant chorus. It was soft, almost indistinguishable from the rustle of leaves. Are you truly prepared? Eliza's heart skipped. Was this the test she sensed earlier? The revelation waited with bated breath, unlocking a hidden fear yet to be faced. A collective pause hung heavy, an undeniable weight amidst the warmth of unity. What lies beyond our boldness? Eliza pondered, flickers of uncertainty mingling with their faith. The villagers stood bathed in the light, yet shadows lingered. The night deepened, and the echoes of challenges yet unseen reverberated, teasing at the edges of their resolve. What awaited them? What truths would they soon unveil? The night held its breath, an eternal pause in time, and in that moment, Eliza felt the weight of destiny itself shifting, waiting to be unwrapped. The air hung heavy with an energy that crackled, a moment poised on the threshold of revelation. Eliza felt a stirring within her. It was as if the very essence of the universe had tightened around them, ready to unfurl. She glanced at her neighbors, each face radiant with a mix of apprehension and excitement. The golden light encircled them, no longer a distant hope but an inviting warmth. Together, she began, her voice rising with fervor. We have stirred something in the heavens. A cycle of awakening is upon us, and we must approach it with courage. The villagers nodded in affirmation, a chorus of shared conviction echoing through the lingering shadows. Yet the whisper lingered, probing deeper. Are you truly prepared? It wrapped around Eliza, weaving through her thoughts and forcing her to consider the depth of her own preparedness. Was there faith enough? Was there something hidden, lurking in the shadows, that required more than collective hope? With a steady breath, Eliza prompted the assembly again. Let us open our hearts to whatever might come next. If we are on the cusp of discovery, we must be willing to face it, even should darkness answer. Eyes shifted, breath stilled. A tapestry of souls woven tightly together, awaiting the portal of insight to further unveil. There was no turning back. Her heart pulsed with determination. Let us focus on the intention behind our gathering. What do we desire to learn? Slowly, one villager stepped forward. It was Mara, wise beyond her years. We come seeking guidance, she started, her voice barely above a whisper. But what if the truth we uncover changes us in ways that challenge us? It will, Eliza responded, her eyes locked on Mara's. But transformation is the divine promise, is it not? What if the keys we seek unlock not only knowledge but a pathway to our highest selves? Suddenly, the golden light brightened, a surge of luminescence cascading around them. The energy was alive, swirling like a mighty river ready to burst its banks. And in that moment, a collective gasp escaped the crowd. They shared smiles and glimmers of understanding, as the echo of unity intensified. Remember, Eliza spoke, her voice like a comforting embrace. Change is often accompanied by uncertainty. Pythagoras taught us that the cosmos mirrors our own lives. Every note we sing creates a symphony beyond us. Let us be the instruments of our transformation. As those words left her lips, the colors spun, a celestial dance illuminating the night. Members of the village felt the warmth flowing differently now, as if their hearts beat to the rhythm of creation itself. Joy bubbled up, and laughter echoed, weaving through the air like dandelion seeds carried on the wind. Yet, peace amidst the joy brought forth contemplation. The underlying question, gently murmured before, crept forward once more. Are you truly prepared? Eliza's heart thundered in her chest as her intuition prodded at deeper truths. What if their journey was not simply toward discovery, but toward a reckoning with themselves, their fears, their flaws, their very essences? A hush descended once more, penetrating through laughter and joy. The shimmering cosmos whispered again. It wasn't just a concert of light. It was a personal examination, a calling to confront the intricate threads that bound them together in this tapestry of life. What must we release to fully embrace what lies ahead? Eliza mused, feeling every gaze upon her, searching her face not for certainty but a hint of the next step. The night deepened, shadows wove closely, and the whispers from the heavens became a haunting echo. They stood together, a community forged through shared vulnerability. Hope shimmered, yes, but so did the challenge of authenticity. With hearts standing poised against the vast unknown before them, they waited. What transformational revelation lurked just beyond the veil? What light awaited and what cost would they bear? The divine mystery lingered, thick in the air. The villagers felt the momentum building, the questions expanding into the cosmos. As they collectively breathed in and wondered what awaited them next. As the golden light pulsed around them, it seemed to vibrate with every heartbeat, drawing Eliza deeper into a state of heightened awareness. Each villager stood lost in their own contemplation, yet collectively tethered to the magnetic force that surged between them. It was as if the very fabric of their beings was being woven tighter into a single thread of purpose. Focus, Eliza urged softly, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of thoughts swirling around her. What do we need to let go of to fully surrender to this moment? The inquiry hung there, suspended in space, drawing in breaths and thoughts alike. Mara stepped closer, her features illuminated by the soft glow of the light. I feel we carry burdens we are not even aware of, she confessed, her brow furrowing with concern. These shadows, what if they are not just fears, but parts of our past tying us to cycles we must break? Eliza nodded, feeling the gravity of Mara's words. They all faced hidden parts of themselves, reflections of past choices and wounds. This new realization was not just a whisper of the cosmos. It was a drawn-out revelation demanding their attention. The villagers exchanged knowing glances, a deep understanding settling in their hearts. The collective energy around them transformed. No longer a mere anticipation, it became a gentle yet compelling call to action. Each soul stood on the brink, contemplating the weight of relinquishing what had held them back. What if we each take a moment, Eliza suggested, to release our fears back to the universe? We can give them voice, and then allow them to drift away, like leaves in the wind. Finally, one of the elders, Tobias, spoke up, his voice carrying the weight of many sunrises and sunsets. I have long held on to regrets. They gnaw at my spirit. I will release this burden. With that declaration, he stepped forward, closing his eyes. The bright light seemed to bend towards him. The villagers watched as Tobias murmured his confessions, his words becoming a soft melody in the vastness. He finished, and upon opening his eyes, tears twinkled like stars on his cheeks. A wave of something indescribable washed over him. The warmth of the golden light enveloped him, and the villagers gasped in unison as he radiated a luminous joy that energized their collective hope. One by one, others joined his testimony. I release my doubt, said Mara, her voice trembling then strengthening. I release my sadness, a young woman whispered, and with each utterance, the air thickened like honey, embracing their sincerity. The sacred energy magnified as more confessions danced through the night air like fireflies. Each release was met with an explosive pulse from the light, an affirmation of their courageous vulnerability. Eliza's heart soared with gratitude as she witnessed the beauty of their collective healing. The shadows that once seemed oppressive began to lift, scattering into the night. The villagers, now open-hearted and lightened, began to sing a harmonious offering of souls grateful for the chance to shed their burdens. Each note became a thread in an expanding tapestry of divine connection. Yet, as Eliza swayed to the melody, the question wrapped around her once more, is this truly enough? What awaits us beyond this release? It echoed between the villagers' souls, prompting them to consider what deeper lessons lay ahead. The light intensified again, pressing forward against the horizon. The cosmic whispers intensified, a rising tide of excitement and trepidation swelling in their hearts. They stood on the edge of the miraculous, a charm to unlock the deeper mysteries of the universe lay just out of reach. Will we embrace the shadows and still move toward the light? Eliza's heart beat in rhythmic harmony with that thought. The villagers paused, breath suspended as they faced the blissful, terrifying unknown that awaited them. Knowing change was achingly close, but what would it truly bring? As the last notes of their song faded into the night, silence enveloped the villagers, heavy with anticipation. The golden light surrounding them shimmered like a living being, pulsating with energy and warmth. Eliza felt its presence deep within her soul, a comforting reminder that they were not alone on this journey. "Let us take a moment," she said gently, her voice breaking the charged stillness. "A moment to breathe, to feel, to embrace the space between us. There is power in stillness." The villagers closed their eyes, inhaling the fragrant scent of earth and dusk, each breath deepening their connection to the ground beneath them. Mara, still filled with the afterglow of her release, opened her eyes to find Tobias watching her. "What do you feel, Elder?" she asked, curiosity burning bright in her gaze. Tobias reflected, his brow furrowed in thought. "I feel a weight lifted, yes, but also an unraveling, like a thread pulled from fabric. And I wonder, what new patterns await to be woven in my life?" Eliza nodded, inspired by his insight. What if this unraveling is part of the divine design? It's not just about letting go, but also making room for something new. Her words echoed in the soft night air and ignited a spark in her companions. With newfound resolve, the villagers began to share their visions. "I see a path illuminated before me," one young man exclaimed, a bright smile breaking across his face. "A path filled with hope and new beginnings." Each voice joined the chorus, painting a vivid picture of transformation. "I see a garden," an older woman added, her voice rich with emotion. "A garden nourished by love, where we can plant seeds of kindness. Together we can cultivate a sanctuary." The visions flowed freely, mingling with laughter and joy. Yet, amidst the beauty, a subtle tension hung in the air, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Eliza sensed a deeper question lurking within their collective hearts. What lies beyond our visions? She pondered aloud, her tone earnest. "We have released our burdens, yes. But what is it that God calls us to build? How do we align our lives with this light?" The villagers looked to one another, a wave of solemnity washing over them. It was easy to revel in their surrender, but to commit to a new path required a courage they had yet to fully grasp. Each face reflected determination mingled with uncertainty. Then, as if the universe answered her question, the golden light shifted, forming into delicate shapes that danced upon the grass. Figures resembling hands, hearts, and eyes emerged, wrapping around the villagers like a warm embrace. Eliza gasped, her heart racing with exhilaration. These are signs, symbols of what we are meant to embrace, a beautiful unity of purpose. Suddenly, a piercing clarity dawned upon them. The shadows we embraced, Eliza continued softly, were meant to guide us to our true calling. They are not to be feared but understood, for within our scars lie stories of resilience. The villagers nodded in unison, the realization lighting a fire within them. They began to understand that every burden released was not just a personal victory, but a collective one. They were being beckoned to cultivate connections, to weave their stories together for a greater tapestry. But as the night deepened, Eliza couldn't shake the resonance of unanswered questions. What deeper wisdom awaits us? She whispered softly to herself. Their journey had barely begun, the flickering gold surrounding them whispering mysteries of promise and potential. Would they be ready to step into this vast unknown, embracing both the light and the shadows? What divine transformation awaited them on the other side? As the golden light pulsed softly around them, Eliza felt a shift in the atmosphere. It was as if the very air vibrated with the whispers of spirits, guiding them toward the next step in their unfolding journey. The villagers stood together, hearts beating in unison, their breaths forming a collective rhythm under the vast sky. "Mara," she beckoned, "what do you hope this garden looks like?" Mara hesitated, her face brightening as she conjured an image. Vibrant flowers bursting forth in colors unimaginable, each bloom a testament to our dreams, nourished by our faith and love for one another. "Wonderful," Eliza exclaimed, her excitement infectious. "But what lies beneath the surface? What roots are we planting to hold this garden steady?" The question hung in the air, heavy and profound. The villagers exchanged glances, sensing the weight of the moment. It wasn't just about the outer beauty. They needed strength to withstand storms. And in that realization, their hearts began to stir with newfound determination. "I feel," Tobias spoke up, his voice steady. "We must build roots of compassion and understanding. These roots will unite us, helping us grow together, despite the differences that may arise." As his words washed over them, a warmth filled the circle. Eliza could see the golden light wrapping tighter around each villager, drawing them closer. The symbols danced more eagerly now, igniting sparks of inspiration that flared within their souls. One by one, they began to share what they could contribute. "I will cultivate patience. It's a seed I've often neglected," said a woman with arms like branches, her spirit reaching for the sky. Another pledged to plant seeds of forgiveness, leaving behind the bitterness of the past. Eliza felt a wave of joy, witnessing the transformation unfolding. This garden was no longer just a dream. It was becoming a living intention. "What beauty we can create together," she exclaimed, her hands lifted to embrace the moment. "Yet what about the thorny weeds that might hinder our growth?" The villagers paused, their faces reflecting vulnerability and humility. Accepting the shadows along with the light required courage to acknowledge their flaws and the struggles that would surely arise. "We must tend to the weeds," Mara said softly, a solemnity in her voice. "For those thorns are part of the landscape. If we do not confront them, they will choke our flowers." "Yes, we must nurture every aspect of our garden," Eliza affirmed. "Only then can we bloom in all our fullness, learning from our hardships as much as we celebrate our triumphs." Suddenly, the golden light flared, casting shadows that danced like flickering flames. The villagers stood mesmerized, a wave of collective understanding spilling over them. The weight of responsibility settled in, but so did a tremendous sense of hope. With hands clasped, they began to unite their intentions in prayer, words flowing like water over stones, seeping into the ground where their roots would take hold. Eliza could feel the divine presence enveloping them, a promise echoing in her heart. "All of us, together, what will we create?" she whispered, awestruck by the power of their unity. But just as a hush fell over the gathering, a sudden gust of wind swept through the grove, rustling the leaves and carrying a hint of change. Eliza's heart raced. What was this shift? What divine message was being sent? She turned her gaze to the darkness beyond the flickering light, sensing an unfolding mystery. The thrill of the unknown fluttered within her. Would they heed the signs and embrace the call, even when clarity seemed just out of reach? What awaited them in the depths of the shadows? The questions lingered like an unresolved chord, urging them to seek the answers that life had yet to reveal. The wind stirred again, a soft whisper across the grove, intertwining with the murmurs of the villagers' prayers. It felt as if the universe itself was shifting, urging them to lean into the mystery. Eliza could sense the atmosphere thickening with anticipation, electric and alive. The moment held a promise. Something profound was waiting to unfold. "Mara," Eliza began, her voice gentle yet resonant. "What do you think those shadows are trying to show us? Why does the garden truly call us forward?" With thoughtful eyes, Mara stepped closer to the flickering light. "Perhaps the shadows reflect our fears, the doubts we carry within. They're not just obstacles but lessons we must embrace. Her voice grew stronger, illuminated by conviction. Each shadow becomes a part of us when we choose to confront it with love. The villagers nodded, slowly digesting her words, while the warmth of the golden light swirled around them in response. Eliza could see hope igniting the embers of their resolve. They weren't just constructing a garden. They were crafting a sanctuary for their spirits, a haven where every struggle could blossom into purpose. I never thought of my shadows in that way, Tobias confessed, his brow furrowed. Can we really transform fear into faith? Can these weeds become flowers? His questions fluttered into the air, met with a nod of understanding from the villagers. It was as if they were all grappling with the same revelation, the undeniable truth that the darkest corners held the very seeds of illumination. Yes, Eliza declared, feeling the power of their awakening surge. Like thorns that wear the color of despair, our struggles can be transformed into strength. Underneath the fear lies a garden of possibility. The villagers echoed her fervor, a wave of inspiration circulating through the circle. They shared stories of times fear had paralyzed them, only for faith to break through the shadows, revealing purpose and light. I once feared judgment for my dreams, a young woman admitted. But when I risked sharing my visions, I found not only support but my true self. Eliza watched as each shared experience added layers of richness to their shared garden. Together, they began to imagine not only the radiant blooms but also the strong roots intertwining beneath the soil, roots that would be nourished by their vulnerability and united spirit. As they conversed, a shimmer caught Eliza's eye, a curious sight just beyond the light. Emerging from the darkness was a figure, cloaked and still. The villagers hushed, turning their gaze toward the stranger. A palpable pause gripped the air, each person holding their breath, unsure of whether to accept or retreat from this unexpected arrival. "Fear not," the figure spoke, their voice deep and soothing like a melodic river. "I am but a messenger, sent to remind you that it is in your courage to face the shadows that the garden of your spirit will flourish." The celestial presence wrapped around them, stirring emotions deep within their hearts. Eliza felt the golden light pulsate even brighter, weaving through each soul, igniting a spark of divine connection. Her heart raced with questions. Who was this being? What further mysteries would unfold? How could they honor the wisdom being shared? Suddenly, the deep voice continued, "To manifest your dreams, you must first embrace the unknown. Only then will you unlock the miraculous." In the darkest nights, the brightest stars appear. As the figure's words hung in the air, an unforeseen sense of purpose washed over Eliza. But with that intensity came an unquenchable thirst for clarity. What did it mean to unlock the miraculous? What hidden potentials lay waiting within their hearts, stifled by the weight of fear? Disturbing questions lingered, wavering like the flickering shadows, a call to dive deeper into the embrace of divine possibility. With bated breath, they awaited what would unfold next. Would they dare to venture further into the unknown, courting every miracle that had yet to be revealed? As dawn's soft light began to warm the village, a profound stillness cocooned the gathering. Eliza's heart raced with the echo of the night's revelations. Together, they had traversed shadows and fears, and now lay at the threshold of divine potential, a sacred moment suspended in time. The cloaked figure stood before them, a bridge between the known and the mystery still waiting to unfold. To unlock the miraculous, the voice echoed, "You must first embrace that which you do not know." Eliza felt those words reverberate in her soul, piercing through the layers of uncertainty. What did it mean to step into the unknown? What fire burned within them, waiting to ignite? The villagers stood collectively breathless, an electric charge filling the air, each heart a heartbeat away from transformation. "Let us embrace the dawn," Eliza said softly, eyes shimmering with determination. "This is the moment we leap forward into faith." Together, with a shared resolve sweeping through their spirits, the villagers clasped hands. Each pulse of their hearts seemed to harmonize with the whispers of the universe. Eliza raised her voice, infused with passion. "We have faced our shadows and released our burdens. Now, with open hearts, we will walk into what lies beyond." As she spoke, the golden light illuminated their entwined hands, reflecting flickers of hope. What would they discover? What miracles awaited them inside the unknown? In that sacred circle, they forged a bond, a promise that no individual journey would be faced alone. The gentle breeze danced through the leaves, carrying the essence of new beginnings, and in unison, the villagers began to chant, their voices rising together like a symphony written by the divine. We embrace the unknown. We welcome change. We seek the miraculous. A radiant energy burst forth from the center of their gathering, swirling like a golden tornado, wrapping around them, as if the universe itself answered their heartfelt call. Eliza felt the warmth of the collective spirit pulsate through her, awakening a deeper longing to uncover their purpose. Then came the figure's voice, calm and reassuring. You wield the power to transform. Do not let doubt cloud your sight. You are divine potential, raw and infinite. Eliza's heart swelled at the declaration. We will not waver, she exclaimed, as tears of gratitude brimmed in her eyes. For within us beat the hearts of warriors, each of us a testament to resilience. Our shadows no longer hold dominion. They are mere stepping stones into the light. In that moment, clarity intermingled with the crisp morning air. Eliza gazed into the faces of her friends and neighbors, each one a canvas of vulnerability, enthusiasm, and faith. What we dream, what we choose to believe, will shape this garden we are creating. Let us plant seeds of courage. Voices of agreement rippled through the gathering, the energy shifting from fervor to a steady pulse of intention. I plant seeds of kindness, a villager cried out. I plant seeds of joy, declared another, laughter ringing like bells across the morning. As seeds of intention flowed forth, the very fabric of their community began to blossom anew. Eliza brought forth the essence of Pythagoras' teachings. Harmony, proportion, transformation. Let these be our guiding stars, she proclaimed, her voice carrying through the now radiant grove. With newfound vigor, they embraced their vulnerabilities, a collective pact of authenticity. Each commitment to growth fortified their spirits. I will nurture compassion, said Tobias, and in turn foster connection. I will embrace forgiveness, Mara added, her voice steady with conviction. For within my heart lies the key to unlock deeper understanding. As their voices intertwined, a magnificent crescendo echoed through the grove. The warm light enveloped them, twinkling with the promise of miracles yet to come. It felt as if they stood at the very juncture of heaven and earth. Then, the cloaked figure stepped closer, eyes shining with ancient wisdom. Believe in the path you weave. Remember, the road to the miraculous begins with a single footstep taken in faith. The villagers, emboldened, took a collective step forward, feet finding their rhythm upon the sacred ground. They were more than just individuals. They were a family, interlinked, ready to sow their legacy in the soil of shared dreams. Eliza grinned, a tear of joy escaping as the morning sun bathed the village in golden hues. This is just the beginning, she shouted, raising her arms towards the sky. Miracles await, and together, we will manifest a future brightened by love and light. With hearts ignited, hands clasped in unity, the villagers stepped into their new reality, a reality where they would nurture their garden, face the shadows with grace, and unlock the miraculous within the beautiful mysteries of life. As flowers began to bloom around them, Eliza felt a divine peace settle in her heart. It was a reminder that transformation comes not just from intention but from love, courage, and a willingness to embrace the journey together. And so, the new day dawned, filled with unshakable faith, as healing began to intertwine the lives of Eliza, Thomas, and their entire village. They had unlocked the keys to their hearts. Hope flowed like a river, and the miraculous, now within reach, was only the birth of something even greater. Now, dear friends, this is the moment to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread the word of miracles. Comment below your reactions and testimonies about this ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. You need to subscribe now. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.